guys, it is Momofthreepossible here again. Thank you all for coming back to watch. We are going to go straight to our portion control video today. It is important for us to learn how to do portion control because everything has gotten bigger nowadays. Everything around us is bigger. Dogs are bigger. So there truly is something wrong with what's going on around us. But how do we stay true to our size, to our envisioned goal in the midst of all this abundance of food around us? My very first tip, but before I go on that tip, if you haven't already, please do not forget to subscribe, hit like, and hit the notification, which is the bell button, so that when I make new videos, you will be notified of that. And also don't forget to leave your comments and your questions right down below. Okay, so my first tip, it is always the best to make your own food and eat from home. But if you have to go out to eat, the tip that I give people is when you order your food, ask the waiter or waitress to come out with a box with your food when it's being served, so that you can put half of your food right into the to-go home box right away, so that you're not tempted to eat all that food. Because what happens is that most people will finish or get close to finishing whatever they get on their plates. Okay, so let's talk about foods and how to make your portion control a reality for yourself. You're going to think about your hand as your gauge, okay? If this is your hand and this is going to be your tool for your portion control, you're going to picture the palm of your hand as your protein. And you're going to use your hand and cup it like that for your carbs. And you're going to go a full fist for your vegetables, okay? And I'm talking about the very main food groups. We're going to talk about your carbs, your protein, and your vegetables for right now. That's what I usually do for my main meals of the day, which is my lunch and my dinner. And then I also have breakfast, which I don't have all those three categories in my breakfast, but I also have 2 snacks during the day. And for my snacks, I'll teach you about how to include the other food groups throughout your day by incorporating those in your snack times. So let's think about our lunch and dinner plates for right now. So for carbs, I have some grains here, some whole grains, always better for you. And I have my mashed potatoes. And for my mashed potatoes, for those of you out there that love my local Guinean dishes, like your fufu and your banku and your kenke, it has a pretty similar consistency to this mashed potatoes. So you can picture this as your fufu or mashed potatoes. And I also have some oatmeal that I do very regularly for my breakfast. And I have some broccoli here and some sweet potatoes here. We can practice using this sweet potato. Again, for my local dishes and my Guinean dishes, this can be our yam, this can be our cocoa yam, this can be our cassava. It can be any of those foods with that consistency, okay? And then I also have my bread, my apple, my banana. I have some nuts here, and I have some butter here. I have some strawberries here, and some blueberries here. And this is my salmon. It's a little pale because it is organic and it hasn't been artificially flavored, or it wasn't farm raised, so it's not going to be as pink as what you see on the market. So here are my foods, and let's say I'm making my lunch plate, and I'm going to remember the palm of my hand is my protein, my hand cupped like that is going to be my carb, and a fist is going to be my vegetable. So I'm going to go with my rice, and let's say you can think of this as my Ghana jollof, okay? This rice right here, this amount of rice here is going to be roughly a handful, okay? And I can show you all this. This is going to be a little gross. But if I had, let's do this again. If I kind of do this and show you guys what a cupped hand will be with carbs. And so My Ghanaian ladies, you can pretend this is your Ghana jollof that I know you all love. This is a cupped pan. So this will be the amount of rice that you can have on your plate. And then we're going to go with that palm of my hand. That is about almost this whole size of salmon, except this little part there. So this will be the amount of protein that I can have. And this can be your fish, your chicken, your pork, your eggs, or whatever else. And for my vegetables, which is going to be a fistful, if this is some vegetables that are not sort of whole and they're flat, you want to make sure that you are picturing that this is a whole fist. So it's kind of rounded up. And that will be about this much of vegetables for me. Okay? And so this would be my dinner or my lunch plate. And this will be a very well controlled portion of my carbs, my protein, and my vegetables right here. But let's say you are practicing, the carbs is what we usually get in trouble with. So let's say we're practicing doing fufu or banku or mashed potatoes. This is very similar to a handful, okay? So this will be your serving of mashed potatoes or banku or fufu. There's a little bit left on this spoon, so I'll add a little bit right there. That would be it for what your plate should look like. And if you are doing an example of what our yam or sweet potato or cocoyam or whatever is going to be, and we're picturing my hand that is cupped, that is going to be roughly about that much. That is not a lot of yam or sweet potatoes, but this is how much carbs. If you're choosing this, this is what it's going to be, okay? But let's say for your carbs, you decide to go with bread. For bread and the serving size, you're only going to be able to use 2 pieces of slim sliced bread. It's not going to be pano pefu, very slim pieces. Everything has gotten bigger. Ghana and na omayekesi. Until see a body, 2 small pieces of bread is going to be what your size of portion of bread is going to be, if that is your choice of carbs for that meal. So that will be our main meals, your dinner and your lunch for the day. For breakfast, I usually do oatmeal. And for oatmeal, if I were to practice this as a cupful of my hand, this will be the amount of oatmeal that I will have for breakfast. And for your protein, you can add your milk in there. You can throw in some nuts if that's what you want. You can have some egg to go with it and picture the palm of your hand as your protein for the egg. And my 2 snacks for the day. That's when I throw in my fruit, okay? And for the fruit is a carb. So you think of it as cupped hand. This is going to be a serving of fruit that you can have for one of your snacks, okay? If you're going to have a small fruit like an orange, an apple, you can picture it, an avocado, you can use it like that. And if it's going to be a banana, you're going to choose 1 medium banana. Some bananas are huge, boson. Inside joke. Some bananas are big, but you're going to use a medium banana for your snack, okay? And during my snacks, that is when I do my nuts too. For your nuts, a serving size is going to be a small handful of your nuts, okay? Nuts are good for you, but with portion control, you don't want to go overboard with any kind of food. So let's say I am going to have a small handful of nuts for my snack. This is pretty much how much I'm going to have for my snack, all right? And some people think nuts are healthy, so they just do fistfuls and fistfuls. And then you have this much of nuts. And when you see how much calories nuts have, you are basically consuming so much nuts, if you don't take care and learn that with nuts and beans, all you need is a small handful as one of your snacks for the day, okay? If you want to do some kind of food or some kind of snack that needs fat to go with it, you always want to make sure you're choosing healthier fats. And healthier fats can be coconut oil, olive oil, whatever fat you use to cook. It's always a good idea to go with a healthier fat. And when you're thinking of fat in terms of portion control, the amount of fat you can have for your whole day is just going to be your thumb size, okay? So you give thumbs up for healthy fats, okay? And that's going to be how much you can have for the whole day. So you have to be very careful with how much fat you use to cook your stews, you use to cook your jollof, you use to cook anything at all. If you go low on how much fat you use, then you can be safe and know that you are not overdoing it with how much fat you're having for the day. So a good way to gauge is if you have a little bit of fat like that on your knife and you're choosing to have a slice of bread, for example, or 2 slices of bread for breakfast. If you use all this butter I have on this knife, then that's all the fat you have for the day. But if you can go very moderate, again, portion control is all about moderation. If you can go very moderate, then you will have this much fat or butter to use later on in the day, okay? So that is it, in short, for what our portion control is all about. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Don't forget using your hand as your tool, because you're always going to have your hand with you. Starting out, it's easier. You don't have to measure, but you know that no matter where you are, you have that gauge for yourself. We all have different sizes of hands, okay? The bigger you are most of the time, the bigger your hand is. So your portions are going to be somewhat bigger because you're using your hand as your gauge. When you're smaller, like, you know, good things come in small packages like I am, your hand is going to be smaller. And so you use your hand as a gauge for yourself. You can do the same for your children. You use their small hands as a gauge for how much they should be eating as well. Because childhood obesity is on the rise, and we need to teach them young. We need to educate them young so that it becomes a natural thing that they do as they get older. I hope this video was very full of information for you, but don't forget, if you have questions or comments, please leave them right down below. And thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post new videos. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Mwah. You are all possible.